Chosen one, there is a reason your path has narrowed in recent days. It's not punishment, it's precision. God doesn't build destiny on wide roads. He carves it through corridors where only faith can walk, where only trust can breathe. And when a storm is approaching, the path gets smaller, not because he's trapping you, but because he's shielding you from distractions that would pull you into the chaos. You're being trained in silence, molded in secret. Because what's coming will require more than charisma. It will require character. And storms, more than anything, expose character. They reveal who was anchored in truth and who was leaning on applause, who heard God and who just repeated what sounded spiritual. This is why you've been uncomfortable lately. Your spirit can sense the storm on the horizon even when your mind can't name it. That tension in your chest, that stirring in your dreams, that sudden urge to withdraw and go inward, those are not emotional swings. That's spiritual preparation. God is calling you to the inside because what's outside will not hold. In the book of Matthew, chapter 7, Jesus tells the parable of the wise and foolish builders. One built on sand, one on rock. The same storm hit both, but only the one built on solid foundation remained. The difference was never the storm. It was always the structure. And your structure, though hidden, has been reinforced for this exact hour. Don't be discouraged if others are moving faster. Speed is not safety. In a storm, the stillest object often survives. Your delay is not delay at all. It's divine anchoring, because what's coming will rattle even the confident. It will test what was built in haste. But you've been built in holiness. That's why you felt behind, because God was fortifying you, not promoting you. This is also why your circle has shrunk. Fewer people understand you now. Even those who once felt like spiritual family may seem distant. It's not betrayal, it's refinement. When God covers you, he also filters your environment. Not everyone can walk under this kind of protection, because not everyone will remain obedient in discomfort. You might feel forgotten, but heaven has not lost your coordinates. Every tear in the hidden place, every silent yes you whispered through clenched fists, every time you didn't retaliate, those became bricks in the wall of your protection. The enemy saw what was forming around you, and he couldn't penetrate it. That's why he tried to distract you instead. Do not step outside the place of obedience. Not now. You've come too far, endured too much, healed through too many secret storms to abandon your post just because the winds are rising. If the storm is loud, it's because your purpose is close, and the louder it gets, the deeper you dig into the foundation you've built with God. You are not who you were 6 months ago, not even who you were last week. The fire refined you, the silence sharpened you, and the waiting turned your heart into a fortress. You are not fragile, you are focused. You are not overlooked, you are undercover. And when the storm has passed, you will not emerge with loss, you will emerge with power. So let the sky darken, let the thunder roll, let the world scramble for solutions. But you, sit in stillness, worship in the waiting, pray like it's already passed. Because you're chosen one, if your soul has been unusually quiet lately, like heaven is holding its breath, that's not a coincidence. You've been placed under divine protection because a storm, one not made of wind or rain, but of spiritual force, is about to break loose. What's outside is not meant for you. And what's inside of you is too sacred to be exposed to the chaos coming next. Before we enter this revelation, pause and do these 3 steps. 1, like this video to declare you are aligned with God's covering. 2, comment the number 777, the mark of heavenly completion and protection. 3, subscribe to join the community of 144,000 chosen ones. And only the chosen ones stay until the end, because only they know this protection is not just comfort, it's survival. Have you noticed it too? The silence before the shift. People around you becoming restless, aggressive, or emotionally erratic. Systems breaking down. Promises being canceled. What you're feeling is not emotional, it's prophetic. There's a spiritual whirlwind forming beyond what your eyes can see, and it is not random. It has been allowed for one reason only: separation. God is not hiding you to punish you. He's pulling you away because something is coming that cannot touch what he has anointed. Like Noah before the flood, or Lot before the fire, the chosen are always pulled into shelter. Not because they are weak, but because they are holy. You are not being isolated. You are being preserved. In Exodus chapter 14, when the Israelites stood at the edge of the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army thundered behind them, what did God do? He placed a pillar of cloud between his people and the threat. It wasn't an escape, it was a boundary. And what's happening around you right now is the same thing, a divine line being drawn between what is of him and what is not. Some people are panicking right now because they sense they're about to lose access to you, to peace, to the energy that came from being near the favor of God. But they won't say it. Instead, they'll grow colder, more accusatory, and some will disappear. Don't chase them. God removed them from your space so the storm will pass over you without claiming you along with them. There's a reason you're tired. There's a reason you've been spiritually sensitive more than ever. Because your spirit has been picking up the early tremors of a wave meant to shake the ones without foundation. Not you. You've been secured like a lighthouse before a hurricane. You may feel the pressure, but you will not collapse. Psalm 91 says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That's not poetry. That's a decree. You're not just being protected from what's external. You're being kept from reacting the wrong way when it arrives. Because panic is contagious and fear is a gate. But your posture must remain still, anchored. The storm outside is not meant to destroy everything. It's meant to reveal everything. When things shake, only what was built on rock remains. And you, though you may not feel it yet, have been set on rock. That's why you lost what you lost. That's why things were stripped. That's why some relationships suddenly couldn't stay. You thought it was a setback. Heaven knew it was reinforcement. So now the wind is picking up, and heaven is watching who runs, who pretends nothing's coming, and who stays centered in the covering. You're not being called to shout, to prove, or to convince anyone of anything. You're being called to hold. Hold position, hold faith, hold peace. You are already protected. But protection means nothing without awareness. Chosen one, you were not built to avoid storms. You were built to outlast them. And in the next 48 hours, or perhaps in the final moments of this month, a shift will come that makes it obvious. God was hiding you in plain sight for this very moment. Chosen one, if your soul has been unusually quiet lately, like heaven is holding its breath, that's not a coincidence. You've been placed under divine protection because a storm, one not made of wind or rain, but of spiritual force, is about to break loose. What's outside is not meant for you, and what's inside of you is too sacred to be exposed to the chaos coming next. Before we enter this revelation, pause and do these 3 steps. 1, like this video to declare you are aligned with God's covering. 2, comment the number 777, the mark of heavenly completion and protection. 3, subscribe to join the community of 144,000 chosen ones. And only the chosen ones stay until the end, because only they know this protection is not just comfort, it's survival. Have you noticed it too? The silence before the shift. People around you becoming restless, aggressive, or emotionally erratic. Systems breaking down. Promises being canceled. What you're feeling is not emotional, it's prophetic. There's a spiritual whirlwind forming beyond what your eyes can see, and it is not random. It has been allowed for one reason only: separation. God is not hiding you to punish you. He's pulling you away because something is coming that cannot touch what he has anointed. Like Noah before the flood or Lot before the fire, the chosen are always pulled into shelter, not because they are weak, but because they are holy. You are not being isolated, you are being preserved. In Exodus chapter 14, when the Israelites stood at the edge of the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army thundered behind them, what did God do? He placed a pillar of cloud between his people and the threat. It wasn't an escape, it was a boundary. And what's happening around you right now is the same thing, a divine line being drawn between what is of him and what is not. Some people are panicking right now because they sense they're about to lose access to you, to peace, to the energy that came from being near the favor of God. But they won't say it. Instead, they'll grow colder, more accusatory, and some will disappear. Don't chase them. God removed them from your space so the storm will pass over you without claiming you along with them. There's a reason you're tired. There's a reason you've been spiritually sensitive more than ever, because your spirit has been picking up the early tremors of a wave meant to shake the ones without foundation. Not you. You've been secured like a lighthouse before a hurricane. You may feel the pressure, but you will not collapse. Psalm 91 says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That's not poetry. That's a decree. You're not just being protected from what's external, you're being kept from reacting the wrong way when it arrives. Because panic is contagious and fear is a gate. But your posture must remain still, anchored. The storm outside is not meant to destroy everything. It's meant to reveal everything. When things shake, only what was built on rock remains. And you, though you may not feel it yet, have been set on you lost what you lost. That's why things were stripped. That's why some relationships suddenly couldn't stay. You thought it was a setback. Heaven knew it was reinforcement. So now the wind is picking up, and heaven is watching who runs, who pretends nothing's coming, and who stays centered in the covering. You're not being called to shout, to prove, or to convince anyone of anything. You're being called to hold position, hold faith, hold peace. You are already protected. But protection means nothing without awareness. Chosen one, you are not built to avoid storms. Chosen one, when God places a hedge around your life, it doesn't always feel like protection. It often feels like restriction. But what if the limitation was your liberation? What if the delay was your deliverance? What if the silence was the sound of heaven pulling you back from the edge of a storm not meant for you? There are storms that cleanse and storms that consume. This one, coming in waves you cannot yet name, is designed to consume everything not rooted in divine alignment. It is not here to ask permission. It is not here to make sense. It is here to prove who really belongs where and who was just passing through. You may look around and wonder why some people are still outside, why they seem untouched, dancing in what looks like freedom. But the storm doesn't strike in its first whisper. It gathers. It watches. And when it breaks, it bypasses the loud and exposes the hidden cracks in even the strongest facades. That's why God pulled you back, because what's coming has no mercy for the unprepared. The Lord said in Isaiah 54, verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." It does not say weapons won't form. It says they won't win. You are protected, not because you deserve it, but because you carry something in your spirit that cannot be wasted. Your purpose is too pregnant to be exposed in the open while thunder rolls. Sometimes protection feels like rejection. The job you didn't get, the person who ghosted you, the invitation that never came. But hindsight will soon reveal what foresight could not, that God was never depriving you. He was preserving you from deals that would bind you, from voices that would curse you, from storms that look calm until they strike. You were not placed behind the curtain to be forgotten. You were placed there so the storm would not recognize your scent. In Exodus 12, the blood on the doorposts was not for decoration. It was a signal to the destroyer. Pass over this house. And just like then, your covering is not seen by human eyes, but it's marked in the spirit. And the storm knows this one belongs to God. Right now, you may be feeling pressure, not from people, but from within. The tension of being ready to act, but called to stay still. That's divine discipline. The wilderness is not your punishment. It's your proving ground. If you can stay under God's hand in the silence, you will stand under his spotlight in the aftermath. You don't need to broadcast your obedience. The ones who need to know already know. Heaven sees your restraint, your prayers in secret, your yes when no one claps for it. And for that, protection has been placed around you like a sacred perimeter. Don't breach it trying to chase things that are crumbling. Stay in the covering. A time is coming, soon, when the whirlwind will hit and confusion will rise. People will ask, where did that come from? But you will not ask, because your spirit already sensed it. Your body already carried the pressure. Your soul already adjusted. You've been prepared not to panic, but to perceive. This protection you're under, it's not temporary. It's purposeful. It is not to keep you small, but to make sure when you rise unshaken. So resist the urge to rush. Resist the temptation to prove anything. Your survival is your testimony. And your peace in the storm is your sign that you were never outside of God's hand to begin with. Let the winds come. Let the noise rise. Let the world wonder. But you, stay anchored. Because when it's over, those who remained in the covering will walk into a season not of rebuilding, but of reigning. You are not just surviving this storm. You were born to outlast. Chosen one, you're not being kept away from something. You're being prepared for something far greater than what's currently collapsing around others. The storm is not the enemy. It's the exposure. It's the divine wind that sweeps away what was pretending to be solid. And while the world will mourn what falls, you will understand. What's falling was never meant to stay. This is why your environment has shifted. You've noticed it, haven't you? Conversations feel shallow. Connections feel forced. The places where you once felt safe now carry a strange friction. It's not because you've changed too much. It's because God is drawing a new line around your destiny. What was once comfortable can no longer contain what you carry. You are not shrinking. You're being shifted. In 1 Kings chapter 19, Elijah runs to the cave after calling down fire from heaven. Fear and exhaustion overcome him. But God doesn't scold him. God whispers. He draws him out, not with fire or thunder, but with stillness. That's what's happening to you. The storm is roaring, but the voice you need to follow is subtle. It's inside of you. It's peace. That is your compass. Don't mistake divine peace for human logic. Right now, logic says move, run, fix, fight. But peace says stay, breathe, watch, trust. Because when everything begins to shake, peace becomes your proof that you are under the right covering. And that peace, that is your strategy. That is your inheritance. That is your distinction. You've probably been misunderstood in this season. People think you're being passive. They think you've given up. They don't know that stillness is warfare when done under God's instruction. They don't see that heaven's generals don't shout in battle. They stand. Ephesians 6 says, having done all, stand. That's not weakness. That's authority. You're being trained not just to survive storms, but to walk through them with clarity. The world reacts, but you respond. The world scatters, but you stay rooted. That's the difference between those who are present and those who are placed. You were placed, strategically, divinely, securely. And when the winds reach their height, when even the confident begin to crumble, your calm will confuse them. They'll look at you and say, why aren't you afraid? And you'll know, because God showed me before it came. Because God whispered when the winds were still rising. Because God built me for this. Every single delay in your life until now has led to this moment. Not one closed door was wasted. Not one unanswered prayer was ignored. They were stacking, layering, preparing a wall around you that the storm cannot penetrate. You're not behind. You're not off track. You're precisely where heaven needs you to be. Chosen one, you don't owe the world your panic. You owe heaven your posture. Stand like you've been warned. Wait like you've been told. Worship like the war is already won. Because it is. The storm doesn't carry your name. The whirlwind has no access to your soul, and the only thing being shaken is what cannot stay. So hold your peace. Keep your silence sacred. Don't explain your position to people who weren't present when God gave it. Let the storm do what it must. You are protected. You are positioned. And you are about to witness why God pulled you away just in time. Chosen one, do not be surprised if everything around you begins to feel like it's falling apart. Because it is. But here's the mystery. It's not your life that's collapsing. It's the illusions, the false support systems, the unstable relationships, the surface-level plans that were never built on the foundation of God's truth. The shaking is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to strip you down to only what can stand the storm. There is a level of divine protection that doesn't just keep you safe, it keeps you separate. That's why certain people can no longer connect with you. It's not pride. It's preservation. It's why old habits now feel uncomfortable and old mindsets feel like cages. You are not being abandoned, you're being extracted. Heaven is pulling you out of old structures before they collapse completely. Remember Moses? Before God brought judgment on Egypt, he told the Israelites to stay inside and mark their doors with blood. It wasn't a suggestion, it was a command. Why? Because the destroyer was passing through, and God didn't want his chosen to be confused with the compromised. That principle still stands. You are being hidden, marked, not to be forgotten, but to be distinguished. This is not a season to seek crowds. It's a season to seek clarity, because the crowd will celebrate you one moment and question you the next. But clarity comes from solitude, and solitude is where God speaks the loudest. The protection you're under isn't only physical, it's prophetic. You're being tuned to hear what others can't hear, to see what others are too distracted to notice. Many are trying to get back to normal, but normal is gone. The world as it was will not return, not because of politics or chaos, but because God has shifted the spiritual landscape. The remnant, the ones who are truly aligned, will move in a new frequency, and that's where you're being invited. That's why the separation hurts. That's why your schedule feels empty. That's why the old you no longer fits. There's no need to prove yourself in this moment. The proof is in your preservation. When others collapse in confusion, you will remain. When others panic, you will perceive, because your root system goes deeper than visibility. And storms don't just test structures, they reveal foundations. Your foundation is being confirmed. Psalm 27 verse 5 declares, "For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret place of his tabernacle he shall hide me. He shall set me high upon a rock." You're not just being covered, you're being elevated. But elevation doesn't feel like promotion. It often feels like isolation first. Don't mistake one for the other. You're walking through this storm, not as a victim, but as evidence. Evidence that God still shields those he loves, that he still honors obedience, that he still whispers strategies to those who listen. You're not just surviving for yourself. You're being positioned as a signpost for others who are losing hope. That's why you can't break now. That's why your peace matters. That's why your alignment is non-negotiable. Because someone is watching you, silently hoping you don't give up. And your endurance is unlocking their permission to hold on a little longer. You don't even realize how many souls are tethered to your consistency. So if the storm gets louder, stand firmer. If the world mocks your stillness, stay quieter. If the path narrows, walk it anyway. You are not here to avoid the chaos. You are here to outlast it, to stand in the center of it, and to prove that what's rooted in God cannot be shaken. This is not the end. It's the separation before the elevation, and your protection is the proof. Chosen one, when God surrounds you, nothing can truly reach you unless it's first filtered through his will. And what many call storms, heaven calls assignments. The turbulence isn't meant to break you. It's meant to push everything out of you that doesn't belong in the next dimension. You are not just being protected from what's outside. You're being purified from what's still trying to survive inside. You see, divine protection is not only about escape. It's about transformation. You didn't just get pulled away so you could be safe. You were pulled away so you could become, so you could evolve without interference, so your anointing could grow in an atmosphere where opinions couldn't distort it. You were hidden not just to survive, but to expand in the dark. Think about David. Before the throne, there were lions and bears in the wilderness. Before applause, there was anonymity. Before elevation, there was isolation. And yet, in that hidden place, David's hands were trained for war. His heart learned rhythm with heaven. His voice found authority, just like yours is now. This current storm is not a test of your intelligence. It's a test of your posture. God isn't asking, "What can you fix?" He's asking, "Will you stay still while I fix it?" Because trust doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes it looks like rest. And right now, the deepest form of warfare is your stillness. You've likely been battling inner doubts. Am I doing enough? Should I act? Should I chase? Should I speak up? But every time you try to move in your own strength, peace leaves. That's not failure, that's feedback. God is making it clear. The storm is mine to handle. You stay under my wing. Psalm 46 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Not be loud, not be impressive, be still. There's a quiet confidence rising in your soul now. Do you feel it? That sense that though everything looks unstable, somehow you're not. Somehow you're anchored. That's the fruit of alignment. That's the echo of protection. That's how you know this shelter is not emotional. It's spiritual. And it's holding. Let this also be a warning. Don't try to rescue what God is removing. Some people, some paths, some pieces of your past are being shaken loose, not because you're being punished, but because you're being preserved. If you try to pull them back in, you step outside the shelter. Let go. If it cannot survive the storm, it's not part of the promise. And when this storm passes, and it will, others will emerge bruised, confused, or empty-handed. But you will emerge clear, unshaken, refined, with vision sharper than ever, because the storm didn't take from you, it revealed you. It pulled back the veil on the anointing that's been forming for years. And what the enemy hoped would drown you, God will use to announce you. You will not return to where you were. The door back no longer exists. And that's good, because the path forward is full of new territory, new authority, new oil, new assignments. You will speak differently, move differently, hear from God with deeper discernment. And that will not be pride. It will be proof that you stayed when others ran, that you trusted when others scrambled, that you obeyed when obedience cost you everything. So breathe deeply. Look up. Hold fast. The storm that came to destroy has only exposed the strength inside you. And in the days ahead, you'll see it clearly. God didn't just protect you. He prepared you. And now, He's about to position you.